Hi, this is Marini, and I am here today to talk a bit more about debt. I had someone reach out to me a while back and ask me my thoughts on debt consolidation or some of the debt relief companies. And I had one lady who was looking to we had a conversation about her current experience, and she wasn't pleased with her experience with the company that she was with, and just with asking her some questions, you know helping her to find out what strategy is best for her situation. So with some people being in debt, they may have a car loan, they may have a home loan, they may have personal loans, credit card debt, student loan debt. That's like 5 debts already. And we haven't even talked about you taking care of like your light bill and things of that nature. That can be a lot for some people. Oh, and if you have medical debt on top of that, so that's like 6 debts. So if you have a lot of debt, some people may look or they may hear different advertisements. I know I hear it on the radio when I'm driving in my car about debt relief companies and debt consolidating. I had an experience where when I was younger, I had a student loan and I had a coworker, actually several student loans I was still paying on after I graduated. And my coworker at that time, she was telling me that she had consolidated her debt. And I was, intrigued, and she was like, yeah, all you have to do is, and she gave me like the name of a company that she was using. And for me, I realized that wasn't the best decision for me. The debt, of course, now is all paid off, it's long gone. But if you have a student loan debt, I will say you want to find out what the terms and conditions are if for that loan, because with federal loans you may be entitled to certain loan forgiveness programs or certain oh goodness, with one of my loan providers, they were giving us a interest percentage point discount if we had made a certain number of on-time payments for a certain period of time. All of those incentives went away for me when I consolidated my debt into a different loan product. The loan product that I had, of course, as I mentioned, it was a federal student loan, so the interest rate was very low, but I had multiple student loan debts. So when I consolidated a debt, for, I would say, my largest student loan, that was the one that I was not able to get the perks of the interest rate percentage point discount. And I had been paying for years on that loan. And I know a few years ago when former President Biden was doing some student loan forgiveness, that loan did not qualify, and I was just heartbroken because it was no longer a federal loan, it was a private loan at that point. So my tip to you is, if you have, again, student loans, if you're considering consolidating debt, before you make a decision and you may see a sparkling number of a percentage and you're being told this is what your percentage will be, also look at what you could potentially be giving up by consolidating that debt. Debt relief companies, debt consolidation companies, some companies may advertise you don't pay a fee for a certain amount of time. You want to make sure all of the fine print, and usually it's very, very small, you want to make sure that you understand all of the fine print. asking those questions. If I don't have my debt paid off in the 24 months or the 72 months or whatever term that they're giving you, is there a penalty? If I leave this, if I cancel my services with you, what happens to my loans? What happens to the debts? If I miss a payment, what happens to my debts? If your company goes out of business, what happens to the debts? Am I still obligated to pay? Like, who am I paying? Also, you want to find out what, if any, impact using their company will have on your credit score. So these are important questions you need to ask. And can I negotiate the payment, or are you just giving me, taking the dollar amounts that I, telling you that these bills are, and then you're saying I have this flat rate which will never change until all of the debts are paid, or however that company operates. So look into all of your options, and I would say first start with the company you actually have the original loan with, the original debt with, because some companies may have opportunities that you are not aware of, because they may have some on their website, they may not, but unless you actually contact them, let them know your situation, then they can definitely go from there. I shared in a previous video about people during the pandemic getting home loan modifications. They didn't lose. They didn't. You don't have to lose your home necessarily, but you want to find out all of your options and what, if any, credit impact each option will have for you. And does it impact your future borrowing with that particular company? If you make changes with terms, conditions, cancel early, pay things off early as well. So contact your original provider of that debt to find out what your options are, what are the consequences of making changes, and if you can, even if you can negotiate new terms with that existing company. So you never know unless you ask. And one of my mottos is, you never know unless you ask. And the answer is always no unless you ask. So the worst they can say is no. But again, the answer is always no if you don't ask. So let me know in the comments below if this has been helpful for you, learning more about debt consolidating versus not consolidating debts. And let me know your experiences as well. And this is Marini signing off, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.